Hello, everyone. My name is Stefanie Markowitz.
And I'm Ashley Quimby.
Today, we're going to be talking about women being the main influencers with all purchase decisions.
Come on, Stefanie. Pick up the excitement. All right, guys. I'm Paul Potratz, and welcome to this week's
Think Tank Tuesday.
Excellent. So a little unknown fact we're going to share, and I'm having to lean over since we didn't have a third mic, and I wasn't supposed to get the gold one. Stefanie was, so Joe. Okay. But anyway, because that's the way Stefanie rolls, just so
That's
everybody
right.
knows. Yeah. So a little unknown fact for everyone. How many women do we really have in the building that are making decisions?
I honestly think we probably have more women with our entire staff than we do men.
I wonder if that was done by design, though.
You tell us, Paul.
I'd say, yeah, it was. So you kind of think about what happens and why would that be done by design. I mean, for the number of years that I've worked in advertising, which has been a long time, I'm old enough to be your old brother.
Old brother, I
definitely.
like that.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. I'm leaving now. But anyway, so for all the years I've worked in advertising, I've seen that things that are important to men are different than things that are important to women. And men oftentimes want to feel like that they're making the decisions.
In my experience.
Yes. So Tom, he thinks he's making the decisions.
Yes,
Or you lead him to believe that he's making the decisions.
I say so.
Yes.
Hope he's watching.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hi, Tom.
Training him right. So, and then you're getting married in October.
June.
So
Close.
it's just a month, okay? Just a few
Yeah.
months difference. But anyway, and what is his name?
Matt.
So Matt, I knew that. So Matt thinks he makes the decisions, or no?
Yes, he does. But I make him think that he makes the decisions.
So, all right, so a valid point. So pink is not an advertising strategy. And I know in our industry, a lot of times people are like, oh, let me teach you how to market to millennials. Let me teach you how to market to women. And I think that's so stupid. I mean, honestly, I think it's stupid as can be. And in the years that I've been in advertising where I've seen that there's a woman creative director or a woman performance manager or digital marketing manager or whatever, generally they make better decisions in advertising and marketing strategies than men do. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Of course it makes sense to you guys. But here it is. Does it make sense to you guys? Because that's what's important. Because today we're talking about how do you create great marketing strategies. And what's that say on the bottom? Have a question, we will answer. Okay, just checking, Kurt. Well, I'm checking on Kurt. Because we didn't let Kurt make any decisions as he was broadcasting this. But as you're building marketing strategies, I think it's really important. And so tell me, you just recently bought a car.
Yeah, I did.
But you made Matt think he was buying it.
A little bit.
So
Yeah. I made him believe it was the best decision for us. Which, in my opinion, it was. But if I left the decision up to him, we would have drove home with a pickup truck.
So he wanted a pickup truck. You ended up getting an SUV.
Yes.
Why?
Well,
It's because of what you wanted.
It was what I wanted, and it was the most practical thing for us at the time. At this point in our lives. Well, first of all, when we first started dating, which was about 5 or 6 years ago, he drove a
Was it 5 or 6 years?
6.
Okay, all right, good. Just checking.
He drove a tiny little 2-door sports car that was a stick shift. And then once we moved in together and we started, we got engaged and we started making this life together, things got a little tricky because I can't drive stick. The car was so small, and so when it was time for us to get a new car, we decided we were going to get rid of his tiny sports car stick shift and trade up to an SUV, and
Matt,
he was going to take my sedan.
Yeah, and that's what happened?
That's exactly what happened.
Oh.
Sorry, Matt, if you're watching.
So that's interesting. So, I mean, if you read any of the studies, I mean, it's pretty easy to see that women really do make the decisions in the household.
And I think women make not just the decisions for the men in their lives, but they make the decisions for, I know Stephanie was talking to us earlier about their older parents, their kids. They're making the decisions for the whole family.
Majority of the times, women are the main caregivers for the family, for the parents, the more elderly parents. Even when you think about it, we have Christmas coming up, holiday season. Who does most of the Christmas shopping for everyone in your family? It's the women.
Right. And they even decide what's going to be for Thanksgiving. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I mean, oftentimes, I mean, tell me if you've ever been in this discussion. What do you want for dinner tonight? Oh, I don't know.
Yep.
What do you want? But, I mean, I got to talk from a man's point of view, and for Dan, too. Right, Dan? So many times it's like we get into that discussion. Is that discussion ever lead to an argument?
No, never.
All right, good. So we get into that discussion, but, you know, like Dan and I will say, you know, honey, what do you want for dinner tonight? Oh, I don't care. I want you to decide. All right, great. Well, we're going to have patty melts. And it's like, no, I don't want that. Okay, well, then we'll have spaghetti. No, that's too many carbs. I don't want that. Okay, then we'll have, you know, we come up with something else, and finally, guess who makes the decision? Why is that, Dan? Dan doesn't know. He's going to stay silent on that
I
one.
think part of it is that women take a practical approach, whereas women take a more practical approach to things than men do. In most cases, I'm not saying in all cases, but a lot of times women see things for what they are and what would work best for them because they're the ones who are running the household. They're the ones who are running, I don't want to say running everyone's life, but they are.
I'd say running everyone's life.
Yeah. They're helping their families, you know, operate and helping, you know, everything happen. They're making the wheels turn. And so they know what's going to work best for the family and for them and their spouses.
So, and this is all about marketing, so we're going to talk about marketing here. But I'm going to make a very important topic about marketing strategy and a mistake that I think the majority of people are making in their marketing. And I mean, it's a mistake that's costing people, you know, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. But guess what? We're going to go to a commercial, right? Are we going to a commercial, or are we just going to talk about it? Oh, we're not going to a commercial. Guess what we're going to talk about?
Fake out.
Yeah, fake out. Psych. So the podcast. So we're doing the Growth Mindset. It comes out every Wednesday. And it's on iTunes. Is it on Stitcher now, Dan? It's on Stitcher. It's on Google Play. It's on iHeartRadio. We have to update that. So it's on iHeartRadio. So guys, go over to whatever, your choice of where you get your podcast, subscribe to it, and by all means, leave us a review. And every week we have something coming new. All right, so there's the podcast. So I said I was going to tease everybody with a strategy. But let's say, for example, buying a car. And so many times you hear things about the vehicle that really doesn't matter. What comes to mind?
Well, I think we were talking about this yesterday from a women's perspective. You're talking about V6 engine. How many horsepower does it have, or how much horsepower, and things along those lines.
Wait. That's important, though. How much horsepower does the car have, and how many pound-feet of torque and everything? That's all important stuff.
If you're towing something, maybe, but not if you're driving to work, taking the kids to class.
No, it does make a big difference. I mean, you think about it. Do you want a car that only has like 160 horsepower, or a car like it has 555 horsepower and will do 205 miles an hour?
I don't care how
that's
fast
practical,
my car goes.
Yeah, because you're going to be doing 250 miles an hour anyway.
205.
Right? 205, sorry.
I want a car that I can drive to and from work on a daily basis, that I'm not spending $100 a week on for gas. I want something that's going to be reliable, that I'm not going to have to replace in a couple of years. You know, don't have to worry about putting winter tires on it because the standard tires are already pretty good. Things along those lines.
We have to put winter tires on them, Stephanie. We live in the Northeast.
Yeah, that was,
have to
I
buy
mean, when
winter
I just bought
tires.
my car, the two things that I wanted was four-wheel drive, because
Yep.
it snows a lot up here in upstate New York, and I wanted heated seats. Those were the two most important things to me, and I knew I wanted an SUV too, because I'm getting married, and if I'm going to buy a car now, I have to think about how long I'm going to have the car and what my life's going to be like a few years from now, and I wanted to be able to have a car that I could get a car seat in and out of.
Oh.
Not anytime soon. Don't get any ideas. But if I have this car for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, hopefully,
Yes.
I'm going to, be getting to the age where I want something practical for my family and my lifestyle at that point in my life, too. So,
And a pickup truck was not going to do
no.
that.
No.
Sorry, Matt.
So the baby seat's not going to go in the bed of the pickup truck, basically. All right. Or maybe the husband.
Yeah, more likely that.
Yes, probably so. Exactly. So when you were looking for a car, what was important to you, Stephanie? Other
me,
than gas and
I
all
mean,
those
honestly, for me, it really is all about fuel efficiency as well as affordability. Like Ashley said, I'm going to buy a car that I want to hold on to for years and years. I think a lot of times, or I know a lot of the men in my life are very interested in cars, something that they take personal interest in, and a lot of times they like to upgrade.
When you
very
say the men in
frequently.
your life, can you clarify that a little bit there?
Tom and his friends.
Okay, all right, good.
But they're very into cars, into the latest thing. They like to upgrade their vehicles on a regular basis. I want to buy a car and be done with it for a few years. So
So a car with 21-inch wheels, would that sway your purchasing decision at all?
no, that means nothing to me.
350 horsepower?
Still means nothing.
It's not practical.
What
Paul.
about the technology in the car? What about...
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think technology is important because technology creates convenience.
Okay. So that's my point, everyone, that when we're creating marketing strategies, are we focusing on the practical, the things that really matter? Are we building strategies to go after the female demographic, that speak to the female demographic? Because we all know that we've talked to some clients and we've talked about using Pinterest as a marketing strategy, and they act like we have three heads. They're like, why would we use Pinterest? That's, how can we do that? So a lot of times I think marketers or business owners have a hard time associating because they think that the way they need to market a product is either based on price or something, more or less like I guess you can say would it be the benefits or the features? Which one would it be? Depending on how you look at it. They're not focused on how does that vehicle fit in someone's lifestyle. And they're not understanding how to target the ideal individuals. So I always thought that was important in an ad agency, that the ad agency should definitely be female heavy. Because as we're building, granted, as we're building a marketing strategy, we're basing it on analytics and results and all that. But if you base everything on your analytics, you paralyze yourself. You have to take strategies into play and say, now, how would this strategy work when I'm talking to the market that I want to talk to? If that makes sense, what I'm really trying to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's definitely important when you're trying to speak to a certain market, aka women, to make sure you have those types of people on staff to help you with it, because just trying to relate sometimes won't always get you there if you have the people that are actually in it have those same interests.
So let's talk about, we're talking about cars on that, so we'll just keep the conversation about cars. But for example, let's say a higher line vehicle like Porsche. What's important to a woman on Porsche?
Well, I think just as much as women want to look and feel good about what they're doing. I mean, I don't think that there would be designer handbags and expensive clothes if women didn't care about the way that they look. But I also think that if you're just paying attention to what's inside the vehicle, like your engine and your torque and your drivetrain, you're going to be missing the mark with women. I think you need to talk more about women who are shopping for luxury brands are probably looking at, okay, how does this vehicle fit into my lifestyle? And also, how am I going to feel when I'm driving this vehicle? It might not be I want to go really fast, but it might be I want to look great when I pull up to my job. I want to impress my boss with my car,
Well, I look at it too that I think marketers miss out on, though, using Porsche as an example. So for years, I wanted a Porsche. And Christy kept on telling me, that's not practical, especially when, like in the Northeast, that's not practical. And I'm like, why isn't it practical? You can't drive that in the snow. And so Porsche didn't do a really good job of educating the consumer that they have a four-wheel drive Porsche. I'm talking about like the 911s or the Boxsters or something like that, not their SUV. But when they rolled out with the SUV, I think that was great because now you have a four-wheel drive. So now you have something that's practical, something that's good in the snow. And I wanted to get the SUV version also. So what I started doing is I became a marketer to the wife of sending, look at this video. Because then they had the videos of the Porsche in the desert, Porsche in the snow, the Cayenne I'm talking about. And then finally, I kind of got her a little weaker on the whole subject and then got her to go for a test drive.
Yeah, if you can show her how it fits into her life.
Yeah. And that's what I had to do. Otherwise, I mean, granted, I could have pounded my chest and went out and just bought it, but that would have been a little hard to deal with.
Yeah.
It would have been easier to make it her idea in a sense. Oh boy, I hope she's not watching this. Why did I just share that?
Hi, Christy.
But she ended up, I mean, you guys probably remember, she was the one driving the Cayenne, and she loved that car. So I think about that as a marketer, as a manufacturer, as whatever, as a business owner. You need to build a strategy not only that's going to talk to the guys, because a guy's going to want the horsepower, even though he's not going to be able to use it. But his friends are definitely going to give him a hard time if he gets the one with the wimpy motor, even though you can't use it.
Yep.
And then, but you have to be able to build a strategy that also talks to the women, because the guy has to be able to go home and the wife has to give him the okay, the seal of approval to make that purchase. And if your strategy is just focused on the mindset of a man, forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many times has somebody as an entrepreneur who's trying to sell any type of product heard, I got to go home and talk to my wife?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Because that's what
You're
we
trying
have
to
to
close
do.
a deal and they say, I got to go home and talk to my wife.
Yeah, because I mean, as men, we have to, well, unless we want to go through a lot of wives, we have to get that approval. Because if you don't get that approval, you just never know when that craziness is going to rear its head again. So what are some strategies that you would share with everyone talking about? And I mean, I think it's important that, we're telling everybody, I mean, we have, female account managers, performance managers, digital managers, content writers, copywriters, marketing automation. So, I mean, it's pretty much women in the building to build the strategies. But we also don't forget about the men. There's a few of those around here. Well,
I have a couple.
Okay.
So the first one is, like you were saying before, show the women how your product or service fits into their life. Make them able to visualize their life with your product and how much easier or more convenient or much improved their life would be. It's not always about features and benefits, but it might be how those features and benefits influence your life. And then the other thing, going back to your point too, is pink is not a strategy. So I guess this is an anti-strategy, because I've seen a lot of people and companies and businesses time after time put creative out there that has a pink border around it, or put something on in pink text to try and market to a woman. But pink isn't a strategy. Just using a specific color to try and speak to women isn't going to work. You have to, like I said, show her how the product or service is going to fit into her life. And I think a lot of that comes in with lifestyle creative.
So it's a lot more than just advertising, here's a price, here's a payment.
Right.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It really is much more important.
Right.
I think
But
also,
then, Stephanie, go ahead. I know you think also, but I want you to give an idea too. I want you to give a marketing strategy. But before you get into that, because you've got something really good, don't you?
I think it's pretty good.
So we'll be right back, and you guys can hear from Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Samantha Cunningham-Zavolinsky from Potrats, and I'd like to invite you to join our live event at Google headquarters in New York City on December 9th, where we'll be partnering together to help take your digital marketing strategy to the next level. So if your business is struggling to find out how to get into digital marketing, you know you need to be there but don't know what to do, this event is for you. If your business currently has an existing digital marketing footprint, but you're not sure what any of it means or if it's even helping your bottom line, this event will answer those questions. Or maybe you're a business who has an existing digital marketing footprint, but you're really looking for those new initiatives, those new things that you can be doing that your competitors aren't. This event will answer those questions. Because this is an exclusive event between Google and Potrats, there is limited availability. So I encourage you to fill out the form on this page to gain early access to the December 9th event at the Google headquarters. I look forward to seeing you there.
Hi, I'm Paul Potrats, and welcome back to this week's live Think Tank Tuesday. I'm with Ashley and I'm with Stefanie, our performance managers here at Potrats. And like I said earlier, we're surrounded by women, and we're talking about pink is not a marketing strategy, and don't make these marketing mistakes in your strategy. So Stefanie had a thought, but we cut her off because we definitely wanted you to know about the Google event coming up. It's this Friday. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go, we have 2 slots left. Just go to the website, ppadv.com. Go to our website and sign up because we'll get you your badges and we'll do them quick. But we only have 2 spots. So there you go. So, Stefanie, you had an earth-shattering thought. I know you did.
Definitely. So I think we were talking about automotive car buying. I think to keep with that example, as well as making sure you're talking to them about the practicalities in your life, customer experience when they're on your website as well as in the dealership is so important. If I personally was talking to any sort of sales manager, sales representative, anything like that, and I got a bad taste in my mouth or I thought that they were maybe talking down to me because I was a woman.
But what about if they were over talking to you, that they're like, oh, she's a woman, I need to really over talk it?
Right. If I feel like they're treating me any differently because I'm a woman, I'm not going to do business with you again, or even that one time. So I think that's another thing to keep in mind is when you're actually interacting in person with a woman, we're not any different from a man. We want the same treatment.
What about when a guy uses words like honey and darling and stuff like that?
It's unnecessary.
It creeps me out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Honey, darling. There's some other ones too, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, and here's a thought too. I mean, so we talked about Pinterest a little bit, about using Pinterest as an advertising strategy. But I think talking about marketing automotive, marketing anything, that seems like everybody focuses on a price point. But if you're on Pinterest, and I kind of think of this as a strategy, is you go to where you know that target demographic is going to be. We've done that for years in traditional media, that we would say, oh boy, we're going to have the Final Four, we're going to have March Madness, we're going to have the Super Bowl. We've got the opportunity to run a TV commercial there, so we create a TV commercial that has a football theme or a basketball theme or whatever it is, and then we run it within that time slot. Make sense? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, when we come to digital, people fail to realize, or they fail the concept or the idea that I'm going to go to where women are, or I'm going to go to wherever a target market is, and I'm going to talk to them about what matters. So my case in point, like the strategies like with Pinterest, you go to Pinterest, what are people painting pictures for? What are they interested in? So why wouldn't you do a strategy that talks about how to organize your vehicle so your vehicle's neat and tidy, so you don't have, what's some things that you have laying around in your vehicle?
Umbrella.
What else?
I really don't have much. I don't leave things in my, like the essentials, like a snow brush or an ice scraper, a blanket. But other than that, I try to clean my car out.
I guess I'm just kind of I don't know, maybe I'm not typical guy. Don't say anything, okay? But like where I have the snow brush, I have jumper cables, I have extra gloves, I have a hat, an extra jacket. Extra shoes, extra tie, extra pocket square. But anyway, extra flour, lapel flour. So I carry all these extras. But one of the things I always do is I take out the owner's manual and leave it in the garage. Well, I can find it online. So what do I need the owner's manual for? but it takes up too much room in the glove box. Because in my glove box, I also have my sunglass spray and my wipe, the little cleaner and all that stuff. An extra radar detector. You never know when you need that. I carry that around. But I have all these things in the car, but I like my car to be very organized and very neat and tidy. And so why wouldn't you do that on Pinterest, that you talk about how to keep your car neat and tidy, how you keep everything organized instead of stuff sliding around on the floor. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the strategies that we've shared, as you guys know. But the point I'm trying to make is you create a message that would talk to that target market on wherever they're at to get them back over to your website.
I think one thing that ties in really well with a strategy on Pinterest is influencer marketing as well, because
and Instagram too.
Yep. Because women like to take recommendations from their friends.
Right.
So, for example, Stefanie and I are really good friends, not just at work, but outside of work. We eat lunch together every day, and we hang out sometimes. So if Stefanie tells
Tom
me...
and Craig.
Matt.
Where did Craig come from?
Tom's best friend's name is
Craig, but I don't think I ever said his name.
Well, I read minds.
ESP going on.
Yeah, that's weird.
Were you thinking about Craig, Stephanie?
Uh-oh.
She turns red
I
now.
hope Tom's not watching.
Yeah, for real.
But if Stefanie tells me, hey, I just discovered this really great new skincare product, you have to try it. I'm going to be like, maybe I should. It works for Stefanie. Maybe I should try it too. So I think that there's a lot of missed opportunity in a lot of markets for people to connect with online influencers within their own markets who can kind of spread the word for them rather than, just being from me to Stefanie to somebody else to somebody else.
To add to that too, though, I mean, for example, so I'm redecorating, Christy and I's our bedroom now. That's kind of weird. I'm doing it, right? So anyway, I'm doing the redecorating. So I'm on Pinterest. I'm on Pinterest with like the 7 other guys in the country. And I see what Samantha's pinning, because Samantha is a Pinterest nut. Mm-hmm. And she's pinning pictures like of bedroom pictures. So now I'm clicking, I'm following her pins to see what she's, and I know some of you guys are going, what is this pin and what is Pinterest? I've never been on it. You should check it out. There's stuff for guys too. So I'm going to see what Samantha is pinned, and she's pinned some pretty interesting stuff to the point that I actually searched it out and ordered it on Amazon a couple nights ago. Mm-hmm. Because if she pinned it, well, she's already researched it, I know. Mm-hmm. Whether or not she has, I don't know, but that's what my mind said. And then like Nick said, that a guy is more of an impulse shopper. And like this morning, impulse. I mean, I was ordering Christmas presents for Christy, and it was impulse because I'm like, on Pinterest and found what I wanted and searched it out. So you kind of think about that, influencer marketing, but influencer on people, whether you know them or whether you know them socially.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. Or whether you just know them because they have an online presence. Like there are a lot of people who are quote unquote YouTube famous or blog famous, or there are like I know Stefanie follows this girl named Kayla who's like really into fitness. And so she started following her on Instagram and stuff, and then eventually bought her app, her fitness app. Yep. And then because Stefanie told me about it, I started following her on Instagram, and I'm thinking about getting her app. So it kind of has a snowball effect, and there's a lot of influence that, social media and word of mouth can have, especially things like Pinterest, like you were saying, to kind of spread the word and create those extending arms from your typical digital channels.
And I think it's a great option for someone that maybe doesn't have as much money to back their advertising, because that's something that you can get going organically. And if you do want to back it with money, it doesn't have to be much. I mean, it's a good option for any sort of business owner.
Well, I think where business owners struggle too, for example, there's a whole lot of recipe sites out there. You want to know how to cook something, there's a recipe for it. So one of the strategies that we did, some time back, and I had a lot of pushback off of it, was to have recipes on the website. And it's like, why do we want recipes on our website? That's not what we sell. And I'm like, I understand that, but we can do, interesting recipes, and it's easy enough to post it on the website. Somebody comes from the other, because we can run the ad, but then we can also tie in another ad. So it's like a cross promotional marketing. It gets more eyeballs for us. Why not? I'm not talking about really spending much money. I mean, we're talking like $70.
Yeah.
Yep.
And recipes, that's the number one thing that I look at on Pinterest. Taking things full
Yep.
circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
So we kind of spun. So how do we tie this back to having women in your marketing making the decisions? Because we just went into Pinterest and influencer marketing and all that.
So I think if you want to reach women in your marketing, which you do because women make generally most of the purchasing decisions for their husbands, their children, and their elderly parents.
And women buy more cheeseburgers than anybody else.
I believe that. I want a cheeseburger right now.
Yeah, me too. Maybe you could buy one for me.
If you want to reach them, which you do, show them how your product or service fits into their lifestyle. Definitely focus on word of mouth marketing and think about new and interesting ways you can extend your arms to Pinterest. So put yourself in the places that women are already going. Stephanie, what else you got?
All right, so here's something for you guys really quick.
And create a positive consumer experience. That was Stephanie's.
Get on your mobile website.
Customer experience.
You know-
Customer experience.
Black Friday set records on spending records and more traffic on mobile devices than anything else. And oh my gosh, I go to mobile websites like this morning where I'm trying to buy the Christmas present. I bet I visited 7 or 8 different mobile websites and there was a few of them that I could have bought it less expensive by a pretty decent margin, but I just couldn't seem to understand what the mobile website was trying to get me to do. That I was like, I don't have time. And so I ended up paying more because the mobile website that was, I guess you have to pay for somebody to make the mobile website good, but that's what I did. So when we're talking about marketing to women, I think one of the most critical things you can do is know what are the proper words that you need to be using, because I think it's so true. So here it is, guys. Visit the website, ppadv.com/powerwords. And we're going to give you completely free a list of power words that you can be using. It's in your email marketing, writing your ads, or even the way that you communicate with people. So how many power words are in this list? Do you guys know? There's a lot.
There's a lot. I think there's 4 or 5 pages worth.
Yeah, so there's a lot. So go over to ppadv.com/powerwords and download this free booklet of power words that you can use. All right, guys, final thoughts for everybody. Do we have any final thoughts?
I kind of just listed my final
That was your final
Pink
thoughts?
is not a strategy.
Okay, good.
my
Pink's not a strategy.
And if you want to target women, have women on your team.
Yes.
There you go. Exactly. Lots of them.
Yes.
Yes. You know, it's really easier to work with women than it is men. I've learned that many times over the years. So I won't tell you why, but it is. Trust me. So, yeah. Guys, have a great week. That was the thoughts. If you have any questions, post on our Facebook page, or actually post in this video, and we'll answer the questions after the fact. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Stephanie. And maybe next week we bring more of the staff in.
Why not?
Yeah.
Girl power.
Oh, yeah.
Girl power.
Regina next time.
Yeah, Regina.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So you guys have a great week. Bye.